Hello and welcome to GeoStory. In this video, we are going to talk about one of the most famous and controversial chess matches of all time. The 1972 World Chess Championship between American Bobby Fischer and Soviet Boris Spassky. This match was not just a game, but a symbolic confrontation between two superpowers and two very different personalities. It was also a personal struggle for Fischer, who had to overcome his own demons and paranoia to achieve his lifelong dream of becoming the world champion. How did this chess match become a global event that captured the attention of millions of people? What were the political and psychological implications of this clash of titans? And what happened to Fischer after he won the title and disappeared from the public eye? Let's find out in this video. When chess genius Bobby Fischer went to war. Bobby Fischer was born in Chicago in 1943. To a Jewish mother who was a doctor and a Hungarian father who was a physicist. He was a chess prodigy, who learned the game at the age of 6 and won his first U.S. championship at the age of 14. He was obsessed with chess and spent hours studying and playing the game. He had a brilliant and creative mind, but also a troubled and eccentric personality. He was arrogant, antisocial, and prone to conspiracy theories. He hated the Soviet chess establishment, which he accused of cheating and collusion. He wanted to prove himself as the best chess player in the world, and to challenge the Soviet dominance of the game. The Soviet Union had held the world chess title since 1948, and considered chess as a symbol of its intellectual and cultural superiority over the West. The Soviet chess players were trained and supported by the state, and had access to the best coaches, books, and computers. They were also loyal to the communist ideology, and saw chess as a way of promoting the Soviet values and interests. The most prominent Soviet chess player was Boris Spassky, who became the world champion in 1969. He was a calm and elegant player, who had a universal style and a wide range of skills. He was respected and admired by his peers and fans, and was seen as a gentleman and a sportsman. The stage was set for a historic showdown between Fischer and Spassky. When Fischer qualified for the 1972 World Chess Championship by winning the candidates tournament, defeating 3 Soviet grandmasters in a row. The match was scheduled to take place in Reykjavik, Iceland. In July 1972, it was a best-of-24 games match, with the first player to win 12.5 points becoming the champion. The prize money was $250,000. Which was a record amount for a chess match at the time. The match was also a media sensation, as it was broadcasted live on TV and radio, and covered by hundreds of journalists and reporters. It was dubbed as the match of the century, and as a Cold War confrontation between the US and the USSR. However, the match almost did not happen. Because of Fischer's erratic and unreasonable behavior, he made several demands and complaints, such as changing the venue, the lighting, the cameras, the chairs, and the chess pieces. He also threatened to withdraw from the match several times, and missed the opening ceremony and the first game. He only agreed to play after receiving a phone call from the U.S. Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, who urged him to represent his country and to defeat the Soviets. Fischer also received a personal appeal from the Icelandic Prime Minister, who offered to meet his requests and to guarantee his security. The match finally began on July 11, 1972. With Spassky playing white in the first game, Fischer made a blunder in the opening and lost the game. He then forfeited the second game by refusing to play in the main hall, where the cameras were installed. He demanded to play in a small and quiet room, away from the public and the press. Spassky agreed to this compromise, and the match resumed in the back room for the next 3 games. Fischer won the third game with a brilliant and aggressive attack. He also won the 5th game with a stunning and unexpected move that surprised Spassky and the chess experts. The score was now 3-2 in favor of Spassky, but the momentum had shifted to Fischer. Fischer continued to dominate the match, winning the 6th, 8th, 10th, and 13th games, and drawing the rest. He displayed a remarkable level of skill and confidence, and outplayed Spassky in every aspect of the game. He also showed a psychological edge over Spassky, who became nervous and frustrated by Fischer's antics and demands. Spassky started to doubt himself and his abilities, and to suspect that Fischer was using some kind of trickery or espionage to gain an advantage. He even asked for his chair to be x-rayed, to check if there was a hidden device that could influence his moves. By the end of August, Fischer had reached 11 points, and needed only one more point to win the title. Spassky had 7 points, and needed to win 3 games in a row to tie the match. The 21st game was played on September 1, 1972. It was a tense and complicated game that lasted for 40 moves and more than 7 hours. Fischer had a slight edge, but Spassky defended well and reached a drawish position. However, Spassky made a fatal mistake on the 41st move, and resigned the game and the match. Fischer had won the World Chess Championship by a score of 12.5 to 8.5. He had achieved his lifelong goal, and had made history as the first American to win the title, and as the only player to defeat the Soviet chess machine. The match was over, but the drama was not. Fischer was hailed as a hero and a legend, and received a warm welcome and a parade in New York. He also received a lot of attention and offers from the media, the sponsors, and the celebrities. However, he soon became disillusioned and isolated, and rejected most of the opportunities and invitations that came his way. He also refused to defend his title when he could not agree with the rules and the conditions of the next World Championship match against the Soviet challenger Anatoly Karpov. In 1975, Fischer was stripped of his title, and Karpov became the new world champion by default. Fischer disappeared from the chess scene and from the public eye. For almost 20 years, he lived a nomadic and secretive life, moving from one country to another, and avoiding any contact with the chess world. He also became more radical and eccentric, and expressed anti-Semitic and anti-American views. He praised the 9/11 attacks, and denounced his own country as a terrorist state. He also violated the U.S. sanctions on Yugoslavia by playing a rematch against Spassky in 1992 in Belgrade. He won the match, and the prize money of $3.5 million. But he also became a wanted man by the U.S. government, which issued a warrant for his arrest. Fischer spent the next decade as a fugitive, traveling around the world with a fake passport and seeking asylum in various countries. He was finally arrested in Japan in 2004 and faced deportation to the U.S. However, he was saved by the intervention of the Icelandic government, which granted him citizenship and a safe haven. He moved to Iceland, where he lived until his death in 2008, at the age of 64. He died of kidney failure and was buried in a small cemetery near Reykjavik. Bobby Fischer was a chess genius who revolutionized the game and inspired generations of players. He was also a troubled and tragic figure who suffered from mental illness and paranoia, and who wasted his talent and potential. He was a man who went to war, not only against his opponents, but also against himself. He was a man who left a legacy, but also a mystery in the world of chess and beyond. Don't forget to leave a comment and share your thoughts and opinions about this topic. What do you think of Bobby Fischer and his chess match against Spassky? Do you admire him or pity him? Do you consider him a hero or a villain? Let us know in the comments section below. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel